You're listening to the Ripple Podcast. We joke and laugh a lot, but the content itself is serious, sometimes scary, graphic, and always true. This podcast is meant for mature audiences and includes subject matter and language that is not suitable for young listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Get Ripple, the bright new drink with that ring-a-ding flavor. Ripple.
All right, now we all have a drink. And mine does not have a spider in it anymore.
Happy Halloween.
Woo!
That was really gross.
Well, I made myself a special drink, and it was really special.
Extra special. So you're spider-free now.
I'm spider-free, and I'm
you're
drinking my Mississippi sweet tea drink. And I brought you a drink because you apparently hate sweet tea.
I like sweet tea. I just don't like, I've had a couple of the sweet tea, like alcoholic sweet teas, and I just don't like them. I don't know. They just taste super gross to me.
Have you ever had them with lemonade?
No.
It's good with lemonade.
So is whiskey.
True. I'm not going to argue. That's why I brought you that.
Yeah, this is a Whiskey Mule in a can from Black Skimmer. I've never heard of it, but it's in a can and it's pretty cool. Oh, it's from San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. I mean, it's not bad.
Do you like
from
it?
Cutwater Spirits. Black Simmer Bourbon Whiskey Mule. Excuse me. It makes me burp a lot. So luckily I'm not telling the story this week.
We have our brother with us this week hanging out. I'm going to try to scare him with my spooky Halloween story.
It's a Halloween story?
Well, it's spooky because it's paranormal.
Okay.
And so I tried to find something really kind of, theme-ish.
Well, since you're doing a theme and you have a themed drink, do you want to tell everybody what you put in your themed drink?
It's so easy because that's how I like them. But it's just the Seagram's sweet tea.
Yeah.
And some mango bubbly.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is. It's like a vodka spritzer. Any big plans for Halloween?
No.
Nothing?
No. Which I'm totally okay with. That's totally fine. I'll probably just watch a movie.
A scary one?
Home. Maybe. Okay. So we were talking about what movie we were going to watch today, Adam and I. And I found out two really interesting facts about Adam this last weekend on our road trip. One, he does not have an internal dialogue.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I have one going constantly.
I can't comprehend how you live life without one.
But you also
what is that like?
Don't understand how I can't visualize anything.
I can't understand that either.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot conceptualize because I gave him an audio representation of what my internal dialogue is doing all the time.
Mine's going as you're speaking to me.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's like totally irrelevant, but I just thought it was super weird and interesting. But second thing is, going back to the movies, he's never seen Princess Bride.
Break up with him now.
He's never seen Princess Bride.
Break up. It's over. Sorry.
That's what we were going to watch on Halloween, maybe.
Do you guys have a DVD player?
Yes.
Because I have it. I own it.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the few DVDs I still own.
Well, we also have like all of the streaming networks, so it might be on one of those.
It might be. Yeah, I don't know what it's on.
Yeah.
But fun fact about The Princess Bride, when I got married 100 years ago, my friends got us, and I don't even know where this came from or how, but they got us a 5 DVD disc player. Like that was super cool at the time.
Oh, weird.
So you could just have like 5 movies going at any time.
That's so weird.
And 2 DVDs they gave us with that gift. One of them was The Princess Bride, and the other was What Women Want.
Oh, that's creative. That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even know something like that existed.
I don't think they stuck around for a whole long time. I think it was like kind of like oh, this is cool, let's make this. And people are like, wait, why do I need 5 DVDs?
No, because if you're going to have a CD changer like in your car, it's going to play songs from different CDs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it works? Or does it play the entire CD and then change to a different CD?
I think it was random. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was like a DVD CD player. Maybe it did both.
Oh.
It might have.
That would make more sense.
Possibly that's, yeah, I don't know. It was a long time ago. But fun Princess Bride fact for you there.
Yeah. We did play, back in college, we played a drinking game.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what it was actually really fun. We had a lot of really fun drinking games involving movies. It's like something you'd play towards the end of the night where you look up, like on IMDb, the top quotes, the lines from those movies. Mm-hmm. And you cut them all, like you print them out or write them down, cut them all out in a bunch of pieces of paper and then throw them in a hat. And then everybody pulls out lines. So as those lines are said, and a lot like movies like that where a lot of repeating lines happen, every time they say that line, that person has to drink. So like Farm Boy at the beginning, she says it like 12 times.
So you're assigned a line.
You pull one and that's your line. Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
And then
it takes some prep work for sure.
Prepare to die. Like that one's said like 10 times.
So that person's getting totally drunk.
Oh, so yeah,
that's kind of fun. I like that.
Yep. We also played the hat game. Did you ever play the hat game?
Nope. What's that?
You make a hat on a piece of paper and then you cut it out and tape it to the TV. And whenever it lines up with somebody's head, you have to drink.
That's ridiculous.
It was really fun. It was a really fun game.
Who invented that? Or is that like a real game?
No, it's a real game.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought someone just like...
Oh, I don't know. Maybe somebody did. But we played
a hat
it
on
like
the TV.
multiple times in college.
That's funny.
Yep. So what are you doing for Halloween?
Not a lot. We are getting dressed up because I can't not get dressed up. But we're just going to hang out with some friends.
That sounds like so much work.
Getting dressed up?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. That's what I like. I like to put together costumes. I don't buy the store-bought stuff. I like put them together. I've been painting on like a black trench coat.
Halloween's like a couple days away.
I know. I have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I can't.
It'll get there.
The closest thing that comes to that is like buying some footy pajamas at Target. That's the extent of my
costuming.
Yeah.
It'll be good. Anyways, do you want to hear a story?
Tell me a story.
Okay. Do you remember where we're going? Oh, yeah, because I just mentioned it
Mississippi.
a little while ago. Mississippi. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay, tell me a story.
So here are my sources. Visit Vicksburg, Clouded in Mystery, Wikipedia, Only in Your State, Haunted Rooms, McRaven Tour Home, and then I watched an episode of Ghost Adventures.
Oh, you watched Zach Baggins.
With good old Zachy boy.
Is that his name, Baggins? Baggins.
I say Baggins. It's okay. B-A-G. It's one G.
Is it an A? I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was fun. I watched it twice, actually.
So we're talking about ghosts then?
Well, it's paranormal. So we are doing the paranormal ghosts.
Okay, good.
Halloween time is coming.
I think that's my favorite kind of paranormal.
So have you ever done a story and you're like super excited about it, but then when you're doing it, you're like, oh, shoot, I should have totally picked something else.
Yeah, that was last week.
Really? The Disneyland?
Yeah, it was because we were at freaking Glen Tavern and I pulled California and I pulled Strange History. I could have done the Newhall Dam breaking.
Oh.
And I didn't think about it until we were there.
Yeah. I thought it was a good episode. I mean, I was very into it. I was listening.
Yeah, it was fun. The only thing that like came off kind of weird, I think, is that because we were at the Glen Tavern and the walls are made out of paper practically, I was like, I felt like I was whispering the entire episode.
It's okay.
I like being here where I can yell.
Yeah, loudly. Well, when I pulled this one, I was not excited at all because I don't know anything about Mississippi, as we just discovered.
I looked it up on a map.
Yeah, I did too. I did too. And paranormal for me is difficult because I just don't know a lot. I don't know. I say the EPT thing wrong. Can't even get that part right. So I wasn't real excited. But now that I've done the story, I'm way more into it.
Okay.
So hopefully you like it too.
Okay.
So we're going to go to this address here in Mississippi. It's 1445 Harrison Street. It's in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Where's that?
It's in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And it was built in 1797.
Wow, that's old.
And it's been labeled as the most haunted house in Mississippi.
Oh.
Okay.
We've heard of a lot of the most haunted houses.
I was waiting for you to say
fill
that.
in the blank. Yeah, because Winchester Mansion was supposed to be the most haunted place in California? In the country? I don't know.
It's the most haunted house in Mississippi.
Okay.
So many of the hauntings and spirits have connection to the house and like the property itself. It, obviously
Makes sense.
Well, yeah. But the state's long history of like war, it was also built like on a portion of the Trail of Tears. I mean, it's got a lot of like backstory to the land itself.
A lot of terrible things happened there.
Correct. So the McRaven Tour Home, it went through like a couple different names, but as right now it's known as the McRaven Tour Home. It first opened to the public in 1961, and it's been featured in National Geographic magazine, Life magazine, the Travel Channel, 48 Hours, a bunch of magazines and books about hauntings. And
most importantly, Ghost Adventures.
And Ghost Adventures with Zachy. It's known for being built in like 3 different time periods, and I'll get more into that. But because of that kind of uniqueness to it, National Geographic named it the Time Capsule of the South.
Oh.
So that's kind of what it's known for. That's why, other than the hauntings, people that are into like architecture and like structural like changes and stuff, that's another reason people want to go see it. Did I sound like kind of smart there for a second?
No, I was just envisioning like having a Tinder profile and your interests being architecture and structural changes and stuff.
That sounds super interesting. I would totally swipe right on that.
You are so structural changes.
I have no idea. I made that up as I went along right there. So when an addition was made to the house, the owners of that time that was like making the addition, they chose to leave the previous rooms practically untouched. So that's kind of what that means.
Okay.
So like the house was built here and they were like, oh, we're going to build on a dining room, but we're going to leave this room totally the way it is.
Weird.
All right. So it's currently known as the McRaven House, but no one is currently living there. Well, no one living, that is. I actually wrote that right there.
That doesn't even make sense.
No one living. No one alive?
No one is living there.
I'm going to take that part out now. I thought it was really funny.
No one is living there.
No one's currently living there.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Does that make sense to you?
Because ghosts aren't alive. So no one living there is end of sentence. No. Let me fix it for you, okay?
Okay.
Let me
fix my joke. I'm
teach
totally
the
cutting all
teacher.
of this out.
No, you're leaving it all in. So no one is occupying the house currently. Well, no one living, that is. Ooh.
I like mine better. In 1797, when George Washington was president, and before Mississippi was even a state, you didn't know you were going to get a little bit of a history lesson, huh? A highwayman. Can you give me a definition of a highwayman without singing the song?
A guy who rides a stagecoach and is traveling and is moving along and traveling places and carrying
on a highway?
things. Yeah.
Well, it's a man. He's usually on a horseback.
See?
You didn't say that.
Yeah,
And
what is pulling a stagecoach?
he's on the horse.
Horses pull stagecoaches?
So it's a man usually on a horseback.
Okay.
It's just a man. He's running alongside a stagecoach.
He's the one who robs the stagecoach?
There you go.
Oh.
So he goes and robs the travelers, usually at gunpoint. So his name was Andrew Glass, and he actually started building this home. And according to many sources, he robbed people that were traveling, and then he would return to his home to hide out with his stolen items. So according to local legend, Glass returned home one night after being shot, and he pulled up the ladder. So his house was just like a two-room house. It was pretty much like a kitchen, and then like the second story was like his bedroom.
2 rooms, but 2 stories?
But
Weird.
it didn't have stairs.
Okay.
So he had a ladder, and the reason was so he could like protect his stolen goods in there. So like if people were following him, he would just like pull up the ladder. And
seems very suspicious.
well, it was a good little hideout for him until he got shot, and he goes into the room and he pulls up the ladder, and he had his wife finish him off.
What?
She slit his neck instead of him getting caught and being hung. So,
but dead men tell no tales, if you listened to our last episode. So what if she just made all of that up?
but if his dead body is there,
Just throw it out the window.
no, she did. There's proof. So,
Wait, she did what?
she slit his throat.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying that.
Oh, you think she just had enough of him?
Yeah.
It's quite possible. So she is said to have slit his throat in their bedroom, and Glass was the first person to die in the McRaven house.
So that his weird hideaway, no staircase house is the original McRaven house?
Correct.
Okay.
But definitely was not the last person to die in that house.
Okay.
So this was in a town called Walnut Hills at the time, which is now
Walnut? Okay.
which is now Vicksburg, Mississippi. His house was a 2-room brick structure with a bedroom on the second floor above the kitchen, like Ike said. It had no stairs. It had a removable ladder, and it was to prevent him getting ambushed while he slept.
But what would happen
If someone else had a ladder?
or if he's like running up real quick and somebody grabs the ladder before he has a chance to pull it up?
He's super fast.
But what if is he just stuck there?
No, he has the ladder. He's that fast.
No, I'm just saying, like, if somebody took his ladder,
No, he
like
pulls
that
it
would
up with
require some foresight.
him. No,
Keep a rope upstairs.
he's fine. He's super smart until his throat got slit.
Hmm.
Apparently he used like a blueberry and buttermilk plaster
That sounds
on
delicious.
the walls. Kind of like a paste.
Wait, like real blueberries and buttermilk?
It's called blueberry and buttermilk plaster.
It seems like he would have a serious ant problem.
It's quite possible. I have an ant problem. There's an ant on the computer.
That's disgusting.
So, but that blueberry and buttermilk plaster is still there to this day.
It can't be real blueberries and buttermilk.
Maybe that's just what they call it.
Imagine how that would smell, too.
It smelled really good until it started smelling like wine.
It would smell like rotten milk. Spoiled milk?
Oh, because of the buttermilk. I was thinking about the
Yeah.
blueberries.
Gross.
So his bedroom currently is a hot spot for paranormal activity. One time there was a tour guide that was in the room, and a chair suddenly like slammed to the ground. And when people enter his room, that second story room, they feel like emotion, like strong emotions. And
What
women,
are those like?
I know you have no idea what that is. I can't control mine. Women claim to feel like they're being touched when they're in the room. And there was this one tour
Being
guide.
touched where?
Well, listen. This one tour guide, because they have like docents that give tours. And she said that she felt a hand slide up inside her inner thigh
Ooh.
and whisper the words, "I had you fooled," and then start laughing.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
And is she suspecting it's this highwayman guy?
Exactly. Glass.
Maybe that's why he got his throat slit.
because he was touching women inappropriately.
Maybe.
Well, or maybe the wife was very jealous.
Well,
Which
that's
is
another
some people
good
say.
possibility.
Mm-hmm. So that night, so she totally freaked out. She's like giving a tour in that room. She feels this hand go up her thigh, hears someone whisper into her ear, "I had you fooled," and then start laughing. That night she goes home from work and she has this horrible nightmare. And she says that she was like running away from this person that she couldn't see. and she's running, and then she sees a mirror, and she looks into the mirror, but she sees a face, but it's not her face, but it's her face. You know, that whole like it's me but it's not me type feeling. And she says she couldn't control what her face in the mirror was doing, so it felt like another being had been like almost like possessed her in her dream.
Weird.
So when men go in that room, they're known to have like irrational and uncharacteristic outbursts of anger.
Likely excuse.
A psychic came through and said at one point that if anything goes missing in the house, then Andrew Glass is the one that's taken it because he's a thief.
Oh, okay.
You know, that psychic said that. A lot of guests have been known to feel sick or like migraines come on suddenly when they enter that room and then like quickly want to get out of there. Okay, so then in 1836, this guy named Stephen Howard, he was 28 at the time and the sheriff of the area. He bought the house for himself and his 12-year-old wife, Mary Elizabeth.
What?
Do you want to stop me there for a second?
12-year-old wife?
Yep,
What?
He's 28. She's 12. Her name's Mary Elizabeth. It's 1836. Apparently,
Holy
that was something
shit.
that was like common practice at the time.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, it really bothers me.
When I was 12, I think like my biggest thought was like which Lisa Frank backpack I was going to pick out.
And would it match your folder?
Right. Like,
Yeah.
can you do kittens and dolphins, or are those like not okay to do together?
You
I
could
don't
do
know.
unicorns and Pegasuses.
Okay.
Pegasi.
Pegasi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that works.
But do dolphins and kittens work?
I don't think so.
I don't know. So Stephen Howard, when he got the house, he added on a dining room and then a bedroom above it, as well as a closed-in balcony, and he actually added stairs.
Okay.
What a concept. He added
I mean,
a dining room.
When you're 12, a guy who can build stairs is probably a hot commodity.
Totally. He added a dining room and then 2 side balconies.
It's actually like really impressive.
Mary Elizabeth was 15 when she died.
What?
After shortly giving birth to their son.
What did she have, like 12 kids?
No, just the one.
Well, that's a little bit better, I guess.
And he survived.
She died like right after he was born?
She died shortly after, like due to complications of
Oof.
childbirth. So she died in August of 1836 in their bedroom. Stephen couldn't handle it. He moved away after her death and then died a little bit later. And he left the baby to be raised by his parents. Mary Elizabeth is probably the most active spirit in the McRaven home. Many of Mary's personal belongings are still in the house today, including her wedding veil. And it was hung up in the room on display so people could touch it or whatever. And a lot of people said that they felt a presence pulling on the veil when they're holding it.
Wait, who's touching it?
Guess.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
190 years.
That old of a veil, and they're letting people touch it?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're supposed to be, but it was hanging in the room.
Are you sure it's not the docent pulling it out of visitors'
No,
hands? Seriously, keep your hands off. That's weird. Why would they allow people to do that?
I don't know.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
That's okay. You're allowed to. What is?
Okay. She was only the second, or I guess, yeah.
Uh-huh. She's the
But
second death
her
in the home.
veil was left there for a couple 100 years later.
All of her stuff pretty much was left.
But
there.
weren't there multiple people and families and whatever that had lived in there after that?
Absolutely.
And they all were ugh, we'll just build a new room.
Okay, so
Don't worry.
I wasn't going to show you this yet, but I'll show you right now. So her death bed, the bed that she pretty much died in, is still there. And next to it is her funeral notice. And this is a picture of her funeral notice.
It's really the bed she died in?
It is. Because what happened is people that owned the home, like I said, they just started building onto it. Kind of like the Winchester house. They left everything as was. I've never been to Mississippi. Maybe they do that in Mississippi.
That's so bizarre. Like, you know what? Don't worry about the dead girl's room. We'll just build a new one.
Totally.
What?
And you'll see, because I'm going to give you some prices in a little bit.
Okay.
So some people say that, like, when they're touching the shawl or the veil, they'll feel someone, like, pulling away from it. And others will say that it gets, like, hot to the touch. So, like, they want to put it down really fast. Visitors have seen her walking around in various rooms of the house, including, like, the staircase and the dining room. She's actually a really kind and, like, playful spirit and acts almost childlike, which makes sense if she was only 15 when she died. And her ghost is believed to be responsible for, like, there's, like, a light or a lamp in the room, and people have seen it turn on and off at random times. And so they think that she's the one, like, switching the light on and off.
Did they have lights back then?
I don't know. When was electricity invented?
Well, it doesn't. When was it, like, available for people to have in their house? And when did 12-year-olds have the ability to have it in their house?
She's a spirit, so maybe she's just figuring this out as she goes along. Mary sometimes will show herself in photos. So, like, people, like, tours have been going through and they take pictures of stuff, and then they'll see her in, like, a mirror, like, looking at everybody, or in, you know, the corner of a room, and they all assume it's Mary.
Weird.
She's been known to lead guests astray, and then sometimes she'll even play with their children.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice. Keep them entertained.
Like a built-in babysitter.
But, like, she's just like, follow me over here.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, no one would do that.
Let's go. Come on.
Absolutely not.
Come on, this way.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Over here. Shh, come on, let's go.
Not doing it.
One time, though, there was a tour going on, and one of the tour guides, so, like, there were witnesses to this happening. One of the tour guides was actually, like, picked up and thrown across a room. It's not funny. It's scary. You're not supposed to laugh. You're supposed to go,
think that's her?
No, they actually think that's one of the other ghosts, probably Glass, because he's the
That
angry
would
one.
make more sense.
But it was, like, by her room. So that's why they...
But were they not the same rooms, or that was an add-on room?
This is an add-on. Mary's room was an add-on room.
Oh, okay.
So then next is the Harvey family, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about them in a minute. They didn't live in the house, but they owned it, and they would frequently get calls in the middle of the night telling them that the lights in the McRaven house would come on and then go off, and then go on and then go off. So the neighbors are like, dude, your lights are going on and off again.
That's exactly what they sounded like back in the 1800s.
But they didn't live there. This is the Harvey family. So
and
it's a little bit later. They might have said dude, maybe.
Did they rent it out?
The Harvey family?
Yeah. Or they just owned it? And
I mean, I'll tell you all about them in a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so the next person to own the house, and he's my favorite. His name's John Bob, and that's why he's my favorite, because his name's John Bob.
I like it.
John B-O-B-B, John Bob. And this is in 1849 now. And he was a brick manufacturer and a sawmill owner. And while he lived there, he built, like, an elegant parlor, a master bedroom, a men's changing area.
Oh, scandalous.
A flying wing staircase.
I have no idea what that is.
I didn't either, but I looked it up, and it totally makes sense. It's like when the two staircases come together and come down like that. So it looks like a wing.
Wait, okay. What super famous movie had one of those?
Titanic.
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you were thinking of?
No, I knew that one of them did, but I didn't know which one. But
okay.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I made that up right now. Hopefully that's right. Oh, yeah, Beauty and the Beast. Stay out of the West Wing.
I don't remember that
Why?
part.
What's in the West Wing? Just stay out.
The men's room. Or what was it called?
The men's changing area.
Changing area is in the, yeah.
It also had a Greek revival facade.
What the fuck is that?
No clue. But it sounds fancy. And he later replaced it with an Italianate facade.
Oh.
Do you want to know what that is?
Wait, you know what the Italian one is, but you don't know what the Greek one is?
Nope, I don't know what either of them are.
Oh, okay. You really had me fooled for a second, actually.
So during the Civil War's 1863 siege of Vicksburg.
Yeah, that siege. That was a
siege.
brutal one.
It's the Civil War siege. John Bob turned the McRaven home into a Confederate field hospital and campsite.
Oh.
So he pretty much opened it up to wounded soldiers to get care.
Wow.
Which also means that a lot of people probably died in that home.
Also means that he probably wanted a lot of men changing in that home.
Well, if they go to the men's changing area, it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
So because it was located so close to the battles raging throughout the city, the home was hit multiple times by cannons and guns, as well as, serving a shelter for the injured soldiers. On May 18th, 1864, after Vicksburg had fallen to the Union forces, John Bob noticed a group of 6 drunken Union soldiers picking flowers from his garden.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
So Bob gets super pissed, and he's like, get out of my garden. Stop picking my flowers. But they refuse, and they start cussing Bob out because, they're totally drunk. John Bob, he picks up a brick, and he chucks it.
Oh, no, John Bob.
He totally did. And he knocked the sergeant to the ground.
Ah.
The soldiers then decide to leave, but not before vowing to come back to burn down John Bob's house. So Bob reports,
Pretty sure it was already flaming in there.
Bob reports what happened to the federal commander of Vicksburg, and he's like, dude, seriously, what do you want me to do? Yell at them? They're threatening to burn your house down. I'm not going to do anything about it.
No, so these are Union soldiers.
Correct.
Picking flowers.
Because they're totally shit-faced.
And he throws a brick at them.
Right.
And then he
hits one of them, the sergeant, with a brick.
Right.
And he's like, get out of here.
Okay.
And they're like, fine, we're going to leave, but we're going to come back one of these days and burn your house down.
Okay.
And then he kind of goes like, whoa, these guys are threatening me.
Okay.
So he goes over to the federal commander of Vicksburg, and he tattletales on them. And he didn't take it very seriously, but
because they're Confederates.
He said, okay, fine, I'll give them a talking to. So when John Bob comes back home, he actually sees 25 Union troops. And they pretty much grab John Bob, and they take him to this bayou area, which is 100 yards from the house, and they shoot him in the back and then on the face, on his cheek.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
he's Confederate, and he was housing Confederate soldiers.
And he threw a brick that hit one of them in the head.
Oh, yeah. How did that turn out for him?
Not real well. So he's the 3rd person to die at that house, at least.
Well, he was down by the bayou. I'm sure he's fine.
So this is a quote that I read. It says, Bob's death was the first recorded act of violence perpetrated by Union troops after the siege. So John's widow, her name was Selena. She sold the house to a realtor in 1869, and then she moved the rest of the family to a plantation outside of New Orleans.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
John Bob's apparition is still seen frequently. He likes to roam the balcony outside of his home.
Does he chuck bricks at people?
Well.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I guess right?
Pretty darn close. So I'll give you a little bit right here. So he's he likes to look over the balcony outside of his home, looking into his estate. And then he's also shown up a few times when tours are being given. But when Baggins did his little
he likes
thing,
to taunt them and yell at them, right?
He was a hot mess.
That sounds about right.
But when they're doing the tour, they start hearing all of these noises and shufflings going on in a room, and they go upstairs and they
look around and, it's always dark, which I don't really understand why ghosts only come out when it's dark, but apparently that's how they like to do it. They kind of look around, and one of the tour guides, because they took 2 of the tour guides on the ghost adventures with them.
On the adventure?
Right. And one of the tour guides is like, wait, that lamp isn't supposed to be there. And the lamp that's normally like on a side table was like upright on the ground. And the other tour guide, she's kind of walking around and she steps on something. And she's like, oh, shoot, I just stepped on something. And I'm like, well, they're like, what is it? And they look down and they shine a light, and it's pieces of brick. And there's nowhere that the brick could have fallen from.
Except Zach's pocket.
Yeah, there's a couple other things that happened in that room, too. Mm-hmm. Lots of crazy stuff happened on that episode, though. Holy moly, it was crazy. Okay, so...
Maybe I'll watch that on Halloween.
It's really good. And it's super quick. So then, since McRaven played such an important role in the Civil War, several spirits are believed to be fallen soldiers. They don't maybe, have a name. They don't really identify. They just know that they're a soldier. And then... this guy named William Murray, he took ownership in 1882. And Murray and his wife, Ellen Flynn, they raised 4 daughters and 3 sons in the McRaven home.
Holy crap.
So 4 plus 3 is?
4, 5, 7.
Right. They had 7 children in that home.
That's too many.
William Murray, he died at the house in 1911. And his wife, Ellen, died there in 1921. Their daughter, Ida, she died in 1946, and then their son died in 1950.
So they all stayed in the house?
Right.
All 7 kids stayed in the house?
Uh-huh.
They never moved out?
Well, Anna and Ellie, so they're the only 2, that are still alive. Neither of them ever got married, and they rarely left their home. And they also didn't have, any modern, conveniences, that's in quotes, other than a phone. They also never had friends or visitors over. And the only person that they had regular contact with was their doctor.
Wait, still alive when? After the parents and everybody else died?
They stayed in the home. So in 1960, Ella, she finally dies. She's 81 at the time. And then Annie, so she's the last one. She sold the house after moving to a nursing home. But because the sisters never had people over and were pretty much like hermits, their neighbors didn't even really realize that the house even existed anymore because it was so broken down. It was so engulfed with vines and stuff growing around it. They didn't even know it was there. And the sisters, they started breaking down furniture and stuff just to start fires with.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. So it's been said that the spirit...
Wait, how did they eat? How did they have money for food? And
well, it was a very big fancy house, so I think they were very well off. But I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. Ella died at age 81. So it's been known that been said that the spirits of William Murray, who's the dad, as well as Ella and Annie, still hold onto the house, and they're often spotted walking the grounds. In 1960, so we're moving on now. The house was sold to the Bradway family, and they pretty much slapped a coat of paint on it, did some cosmetic work, and they restored the home enough to be able to be giving tours to the public in 1961. In 1979, they sold the McRaven home along with most of the furniture to Charles and Sandra Harvey for how much?
What year?
79.
Well, how big was the house?
It's a very big property. I think 45 acres.
Of swamp?
Of trees and vines. And the house at this point, it's got 2 stories. It's got a kitchen. It's got a master suite. It's got the multiple balconies. It's got the
but it also
men's
has a
changing room.
It has a deathbed in it.
And
A bloody deathbed.
it's got the fancy staircase. 1979.
$1 million, Bob.
$75,000.
I mean,
The Harvey family, they spent a year and $100,000 restoring the home. They fixed up the woodwork, they rewired it, they did a bunch of plumbing and plastering. The plaster on all of the walls and the ceilings was restored, as well as the ceiling medallions. And
what are ceiling medallions?
oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. I did look that up. So they're like beautiful like tile, but on the ceiling. So it kind of
Those are called ceiling medallions?
You've seen it. I know you have.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I just didn't know that was what it was called.
They're really pretty.
So they got rid of the blueberry buttermilk?
I don't know. I think that's still there. Pretty sure that's still there.
Huh.
They like kind of made it like
I would
the
have gotten
original
rid of that. It's pretty
owners.
gross.
So the front and back porches were so run down that they had to be like roped off so no one like fell through them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were both repaired and made usable again. And they had samples of the original carpet from when John Bob was the owner. So Mrs. Harvey, like, she like took samples of it and sent it to this company in Georgia, and they actually reproduced that same print on the carpet, and then they replaced it in the parlor, the front entry, the stairwell, and the upstairs front bedroom.
What about the men's changing room?
I don't really know a lot about that.
I'm picturing feather boas.
And maybe some gold lame Speedos?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Maybe.
Originals.
Right. She also did a bunch of research on each period of the house to have like authentic paint, wallpaper, fabrics, and furnishings to show the public.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she did a lot of work. So the house is now ready for its next touring phase, and they have a grand reopening that's featured in the local paper on April 6, 1980. The Harvey family never lived in the house themselves. But they did spend the night frequently, like keeping vandals away from breaking in. They then sold the home to the Leland French for $275,000 in 1984.
Oh, wow. They lost a ton of money then.
Well, it's 84. I don't think that was a real good time for real estate.
I have no idea. I wasn't alive.
I was little.
That's like a lot of money lost.
Well, if they bought it for how much?
For 700 and something thousand, and then they redid.
No, $75,000. They bought it for $75,000.
Oh.
But then they also put in $100,000 in upgrades.
Okay, I thought you said 700 and something.
Oh no, I may have,
Okay.
but I meant 75.
Okay.
So Leyland French, he bought it for $275,000, and the French family was the first family to actually like live in the home since the Murray family, and the Murray family was the sisters that never left.
They were doing ghost adventures before.
Right.
Okay.
Leyland French, he was also known to, quote, open doorways of spirits that he wasn't able to close. So he was kind of into like spiritual stuff. He liked a lot of crystals and
But it sounds like he wasn't very good at it.
well, because he could open it, but he couldn't close it.
Yeah, that seems like a problem.
I think he probably pissed a lot of spirits off. So Leyland, he once saw the ghost of former owner William Murray on the staircase. And after like figuring out like, oh my gosh, there's a ghost here. He's dead. He used to live here. I'm freaking out. He runs upstairs to the Bob bedroom and he locks the door because, you know, ghosts can't go through doors. He was also once chased by the ghost of Mr. Murray. And he was pushed to the ground and he fell down face first. He broke his glasses, and when his glasses broke, it cut him so bad that he needed stitches. And then another time, he was like pulling out a drawer and it somehow like mysteriously slammed on his hands with such force, it broke both of his thumbs. So after his thumbs getting broken, he's like, I'm out. I'm totally moving.
How do you go from being a ghost that like hangs out and like poses for pictures and shows up on places to being like a poltergeisty, I'm gonna like close doors on your thumbs and stab you with your own glasses.
Because I think there's multiple ghosts. There's Mary Elizabeth, who's like chill. She likes kids. She wants to play. But then there's Andrew Glass, who just wants to like cop a feel and, you know, slam a door.
But do you like level up to that, you think?
Well, Glass was there before Mary Elizabeth, so possibly.
So it's just like a time thing?
It's quite possible. He actually called a priest at one point to have the house like blessed or exorcised. And in May of 2007, Leyland put the house for sale. And it finally sold in 2015 for $1,750,000.
Holy shit. So do the ghosts like bring the property value up?
I think so.
So if there's like lots of good stories,
And
like if you want to sell your trap house and
if you've got proof that ghosts live there, I think your property value is going to increase a huge amount.
Okay.
So Stephen and Kendra Reed bought the home. And since then, they've reopened it for both historical tours as well as ghost tours. So a lot of items get moved around, things get knocked over, doors slam, the lights, like I said, flicker on and off. There's alarm clocks. And they go off. There's this one tour. She says that she works tour guide. She works 4 nights a week, and she says there isn't a time that she works that something doesn't happen.
Weird.
Every single night she's there. And start. Dr. Andrew Reed, who is the current owner of the home, met with Zach Baggins and the crew from the Ghost Adventures.
Okay.
And Zach asked if they're going to live in the home. And Andrew Reed is like, no way, it's haunted. I'm not going to live here.
Okay.
And then Zach Baggins is like, okay, well, what do you want from me being here? I also want to make sure that it's safe for people to come. They want to make sure that they don't get sued if someone has a heart attack.
Well, okay. So you go to court and you're like, well, it was a ghost.
I'm not scared them. So, I have 2 little things I want to play for you.
Okay.
And I don't see. Hopefully they can pick up on here. But this is the first one. Okay. Did you hear that at all?
Welcome to
The jungle?
Did not hear that.
No, it's not. It's actually a voice saying, I come here to die. Okay, I'm going to play it again.
No.
Listen carefully. Now, this is me recording it on my phone from the Ghost Adventures episode. So this is like a recording from a recording from a recording.
What are they recording it on?
One of their EPT tests.
Okay.
Some ghost finder test. All right, listen. I come here to die. Okay, did you hear it at all?
Welcome to Dine.
Well, you're welcome to dine. Come into my parlor and have some dinner.
Yeah, I don't hear I come here to die.
Well, I mean, maybe on their episode it's a little more clear. Like I said, this is a recording from a recording from a recording. And this was actually heard in the room where the throat was cut. So they're like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I come here to die.
Well, you're already dead.
He wants to die again. Okay, then the next one is another recording. You're going to hear a woman's voice. Okay, here we go. Here's from the McRaven home page. This is on their YouTube channel. Ready?
Ready. The hell is this?
Okay, so what do you think she's saying?
She's saying that's a big old cock.
That's a fucking old cock.
That's a big old cock.
That's a fucking
What
old
is
cock.
this from?
So that's supposed to be, that's a funny old cock. I mean clock. I mean clock. That's a funny old clock.
No, she's not. She's clearly saying that's a big old cock.
That's a funny old cock. That's a funny old cock.
She's definitely not saying funny.
That's a funny old cock.
That's not enough syllables.
That's a big old cock.
Yes. See? That's what she's saying.
So
That's totally what she's saying.
So you think she's talking to Andrew Glass?
Maybe.
Because he has a grope in her?
I don't know.
It's quite possible.
Yeah.
And this was picked up again. This one's from like a smoke and mirrors paranormal thing.
Oh, it's not from Zach Baggins?
This one is not. No, this is from a different
Oh.
one that they have on their tour guide channel. This is like if you go to their like one of their ghost sightings, they have a bunch of different like tabs. You go to that one and it pulls up this YouTube video of that's a funny old clock. That's a funny old clock.
But what do they make of that?
They think that it's just referring to a clock that was put into the room.
But is it okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not the expert on anything ghosty. But doesn't it take like a ton of energy for a ghost to like show themselves or like say something? Wouldn't they want to say something a little bit more profound?
It's possible. So during the Zach Baggins episode, the batteries in all of their devices kept draining, like super fast. So they'd put in new batteries in like their walkie-talkies, for example, and 10 minutes later they'd need to change them out, and you could see them like putting new batteries in, and then in some ultraviolet radar camera reader thing, the batteries would die, like over and over and over throughout this entire episode. They're constantly changing batteries.
What you're saying is the ghosts are sucking energy from the batteries?
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, is that they're sucking this energy from the batteries and then using that energy to
tell you about a funny old clock.
Or like say, this is where I came to die. So this is the craziest part for me.
Okay.
So there's this thing called a puck ITC response. And it's pretty much like, the spirit box I have on my phone?
Yes.
You can like almost text
ghosts
with a ghost. And the reason that you're texting your question is that you have a like a record of what you're asking them.
Okay.
So and then they respond and it comes up on the screen as well as you can hear it. So they're in the Ghost Adventure people. They're in Leyland French's room at this time. Okay. And all of a sudden they hear in the background, they hear this like train going by. So it's super noisy. And
are there train tracks nearby?
Apparently, because they heard a train.
Oh,
and
it wasn't a ghost train?
No, it wasn't. It was like a real train. And they ask verbally and on their little text messagey thing, they go, "What is passing through us right now?" And they go,
"Wait, what kind of question is that?"
They say, "What is passing through us right now?" And they kind of feel like a cool wind. They say like a breeze kind of comes by as well.
Okay.
So maybe they're referring to that, and maybe they're wanting to use the energy of the train going by just to get like more of a response. I'm totally making this up as I'm going, but this is how I'm taking it.
Okay.
And then just the letter F comes on the text message, and they're like, "Wait, what the heck? It's just a letter." Like,
isn't that like Call of Duty Rest in Peace?
I have no idea what you just said.
Video game people, I think that's a thing. Isn't that Call of Duty like you're dead?
If you say F
to show your respect for the dead.
I don't know. Well, a few minutes later, the word French comes up. And the word French can refer to Leyland French.
Mm.
Okay.
Interesting.
So then they go, what did you use to see the spirits?
Wait,
So they're thinking it's Leyland French now. They're like talking to him. Leyland, what did you use? Because remember how he opens these like portholes and stuff? Like, what did you
they're
use?
not called portholes.
What are they called? Portals. Portals?
Yeah.
Not portholes. Portholes are in boats.
Okay, wait. So they are asking the ghost,
Right.
what did you use to see? What? I thought she was a spirit.
No, like when you were alive, what did you use to see the spirit?
How do they know she saw spirits?
This is Leyland French because he just said it. I'm French. I'm passing through. Leyland French.
Oh, okay.
You follow? F for follow.
There's a lot of people.
Well, stay focused. F for
Okay.
focus. So,
And he says portholes.
no, he doesn't. He
Oh.
says, he says, what did you see to see the spirits?
Okay.
And the little text messagey thing, it says stones. And apparently, remember, he liked to use like crystals and whatnot. And then he says, what part of the body did the spirits harm you? And he responds back with ears. Because when he fell and he got the stitches, his ears.
Those were on his ears.
From his glasses.
What about his thumbs?
They didn't say that.
Okay.
So that is why the McRaven House is called the most haunted house in Mississippi.
Wow. That's a lot of hauntings.
Are you impressed?
I am. I'm very impressed. That's a lot of ghosts. That's a lot of hauntings. That's a lot of strange and unusual sightings.
Sure.
I have a question, though.
All right, I have all the answers.
Why is it called the McRaven House?
Because it was on McRaven Road.
Oh.
Did you like that answer?
I was hoping for something more.
No, it was like it went through a bunch of names, but it used to be McRaven Street, Road, Avenue, something.
Okay.
And then they changed the name of the road, so they adopted like the McRaven House.
Huh. That's a very interesting name.
McRaven?
Yeah.
Does it make you think of the McRib
Kind of.
or the
But that's all Raven.
Oh.
I just feel like Mick and Raven aren't two, like, things that go together, you know?
Is McRib something that goes together?
Yeah, that's like American history right there.
McRib. Last thought and a shot. Last thought and a shot. Last thought and a shot. Do, 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 do.
That wasn't very, I feel like you'd kind of trailed off at the end there.
I had no backup singers.
Well, you're supposed to sing to me.
No, you're supposed to sing with me.
Oh, okay.
This is a partnership.
Well, let me tell you a spooky story instead, because I think this is going to be our last episode in Spooktober.
Yes.
So here's one last spooky
This will come
story.
out on Friday, the day before Halloween.
Okay.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Eat all of the Reese's.
Send them to us.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Reese's Pumpkins.
Oh. But do people actually give those out as like Halloween treats?
It's quite possible that I have an entire bag of them on the island in my kitchen right now.
Oh, I could not have that in my house. Not at all.
Yep.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Those would probably be up there for my favorite too.
They're minis. They're mini Reese's Pumpkins, and they're
Yum.
amazing. What's your favorite?
Other
than candy corn. Have you ever put candy corn in popcorn?
No, but that sounds amazing.
Do it.
Okay. I mean, I like all chocolate. I really don't discriminate that much. Like even a good old fashioned Hershey's chocolate bar. Amazing.
See, I'm kind of a chocolate snob. Like I want good chocolate.
Do you though?
I do.
I mean, you might like it, but does it really have to be good chocolate? All right, so let me tell you a spooky story for Halloween. So this is one of the famous Mississippi ghost stories, and it is about the three-legged lady road. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So there's a road. Apparently there's a three-legged lady who hangs out on it.
Wait. Why does she have 3 legs?
Oh, it's a mystery.
I would think that'd be more of a guy thing.
I mean, maybe she's been confused with somebody else. I don't know. But this is just what Magnolia State Live has to say. And it is The Tale of the Three-Legged Lady, takes place on a lonely stretch of Nash Road in Columbus. Legend has it that a young girl was kidnapped, murdered, and dismembered. Her body was strewn into the woods nearby. Maybe she's trying to put herself back together. Her mother this is why. Her mother wandered the woods looking for her, but only found a single leg and hopelessly kept searching for the rest of the body parts. Residents have reported seeing her lurking along the road with her third leg in tow.
Okay, so her mom
Yes.
is searching
For her body parts.
and found her leg.
Yes.
That still doesn't explain why there's 3 of the legs.
She's just holding one of the legs.
Oh, it's the mom that's the ghost.
Oh my God, are you listening at all?
A little bit. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Residents have reported seeing her lurking along the road with her third leg in tow. Many drivers tried to summon her by turning off their headlights and honking their horn 3 times. This
For
supposedly,
each one, for each leg?
Yes. This supposedly can lead to her to chase or hitting the vehicle when the cars have stopped. And
Does
then
she hit the car with the leg?
maybe they speed off and the dust clears. There are reports of handprints appearing on the car.
Ooh,
Yep.
that's creepy.
Uh-huh. Whether or not residents have seen the lady is a mystery. It's just a tradition, but it has led to plenty of car crashes in the area.
Oh, yikes.
Mm-hmm.
That is spooky. Spooky-tober.
So that's my spooky ghost story from Mississippi.
All right, Angela, you need to pick your theme, your location and theme for next week.
Okay. So location first. Hopefully international, maybe, possibly.
Not
The
California.
thing is, there's a lot of states and there's not a lot of countries. So the odds of getting a state over a country are pretty good.
It's quite possible.
And it's going to be,
Dun, 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 dun. Oops.
Kentucky.
Oh, hey, we've been there.
I've been to Kentucky.
Hey, look at that. I think you read it wrong.
We saw the Derby there
We did. We
before
saw
the Derby
ponies.
was shut down.
Okay.
And your topic?
And the topic is going to be, it is mysteries.
Oh, fun. Okay.
We pulled mysteries a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have, 5 in there?
I don't know.
Yeah, mystery. Mystery Kentucky. Kentucky mystery. Cool. Are you
Cool.
going to bring some Kentucky bourbon for us to enjoy?
Absolutely.
Woohoo, I'll be here. Okay, make sure that you tell a friend about the podcast, that you rate us.
That's a thing now? We're
Uh-huh.
telling people what to do? I thought you were going to say be a fountain, not a drain.
Not yet. No, they have to do this before they can be a fountain and not a drain. They have to tell a friend. They have to rate. They have to review. And they have to subscribe. And then they can remember to be a fountain.
And not a drain.
Bye.
Bye.